Welcome back to me. I just got back from a Game On in Seattle and had a great time. I think I had a good time. You know, I literally have had 4 hours sleep this morning, and took the midnight flight back on Sunday. Got in there Thursday morning early into Seattle, and it was non-stop. We had maybe 30 or 40 people there on Thursday, and then the numbers just kind of built way up until I think we had about 75 people at Jeff Newell's Game On event. Wonderful time. First time I've ever really done a con, and for $35 and a couple of free beers and all the gaming I could handle till my brain was ready to explode. I had a fabulous time. Met some really cool people that I had not met before, obviously enough, and got to connect with folks that I've been chatting with online fairly extensively. So I got to meet Ralph Shelton and Art Brochet and Jay White and Peter Gade, and obviously got to meet Jeff Newell himself, and finally met Mark Walker, who owns the Lock and Load and World of War franchises from Lock and Load Publishing. That was very cool to meet him. Got to play some new playtest games. Got roped into running the Lock and Load tournament, and it was won by a rookie, which really kind of pissed me off. So Jonathan Halen, I want you to know that next year everyone will be gunning for you instead of for me, which would be nice. I got a lot of shit for my dice. Because I like to use certain dice for certain things, and not that they're hacked or anything like that. I wish they were. I would have won, because it's all about winning. And I can tell you this, that the Lock and Load guys and the World of War guys who were playing had the best time. There was a lot of fist bumping, beer drinking, bourbon drinking, and tequila drinking as we played, and that only added to the general excitement of the game. Lots of intense and emotional play as well. There was a lot of very, very tight scenarios when it came down to the very last die roll, either in that last melee or that last gunshot. And then so I was really impressed that the games, the Lock and Load games, particularly the squad-based Lock and Load and the World of War, really held up well under tournament play because of the balance of each scenario and the way they naturally tend to draw to a very tight conclusion. So it was very cool to see that happen. There were a few blowouts, mostly at my expense. But I got to meet Vance Strickland as well. Vance, I want to say hi to you too. Thanks, buddy. I've played with you quite a bit online, but it was nice to get to play with you in person. It's even more fun. So let me see. We had not only was there this Lock and Load tournament, it was more than that. So there was 75 people. There was a It Never Snows session that went on. That was pretty fantastic. Art Brochet and a couple other guys. Steve, whose name last name I forget. Anyway, and I'm sorry if I've missed anybody, but there was a lot of people there. Still trying to get my voice back. So It Never Snows was played. Total Krieger and Dicenso were played together. That was awesome to watch that play out, and I think I gotta get that game. That game looks really, really interesting. I was very wary after watching Enrico's playthrough of it that this was, had an impenetrable set of rules, but really a lot of the rules seem to be more for reference for some of the cards that he used and some of the processes that occur and some of the circumstances that pop up. And although that may be 90 pages of rules, I think based on talking with the designer and seeing it played, that it's a consumable game and there's not a lot of pieces on the board, and that could be a really cool European theatre game to pick up. Total Krieg, or Total the Krieg, I should say. What else did we see played? There was some one poor chap had Axis and Allies set up for 4 days, taking up about 20 tables, and no one wanted to play with him. Felt sorry for him. We had Combat Commander going on. We had Panzer being played. That game, man, if I was going to be a tank guy, that would be the game I want to play. That looked friggin' awesome. There was, I think, 6 guys or 4 guys playing a big scenario of that. That looked really intense. Lots of cussing and moaning in the corner on that bad boy. 22 ASL players got together and played in the Northwest Regional Finals or tournament. Very serious and detailed and dedicated play over there. I think we may have upset the apple cart a little bit. The Lockaloa boys were a little bit rowdy, so and we only had half as many players. What else happened there? So lots of games. I played Space Empires 4X. I'm sorry if I know you guys probably like that game. It was not happening for me. I bailed and swapped out with another player about 4 turns into that thing, even with the fast start scenario. So sorry, Jeff. I know you had great plans for me to play that game. It probably has lots of potential, but not my cup of tea, I don't think. And I was got to be the general playing CNC Ancients. And once again, CNC Ancients is a lot of fun to play, but don't expect historical play out of that bad boy. My poor generals were destroyed by a leader and 1 block of hoplites. They took out maybe 4 or 5 formations in about 3 turns, so it was a pretty disastrous effort. We looked good on the map. We were dressed lines and cavalry doing its thing and archers doing its thing. We were playing one of the successor scenarios. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. It's the one that starts with a P. And I think it was set in 318 BC or something like that. Super fun game. Now, I had to, the reason why I got these boxes here is because I'm about to reorganize all my stuff and put it back in boxes because I couldn't fit this 40-pound behemoth, couldn't make it much bigger than this. So I'm going to put all my World of War and Lock It Load stuff back in. But I managed to break my promise of not buying any more games. Oh, I also got to play Blocks to the East on this cool map. And I've also thought of a couple of things that I want to try and do this year that I think will be fun for video and AAR playthroughs. And I really would appreciate your comments on it after this video if you've managed to watch this far. Probably should mention that up front. But I bought some games because they were cheap and they were on sale. And so Peter Gay had this for sale, Fire in the East, Fire in the Sky, for $60. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but I paid less than that. So I'm excited about that. Oh shoot, they're all down the bottom. Can I get to them? I picked up this dirt cheap. I have Panzer Leader, so I'm going to grab that. And on a whim, after seeing this played at Game On, I picked up this second-hand copy of this guy, and I'm going to give this a run for its money. Chad does a good job designing games. I really liked Combat Commander Europe, and just the only thing that frustrates me is the size. When the scenarios get too big, I feel like we're spending a lot of time churning hands, and I'm not having an exciting time. Now, having said that, I never really played it multiplayer face-to-face, or I should say two-player face-to-face. So I'm hoping that this, I know this is a different game mechanic completely, but I'm hoping that this will be fun. So I got that. Down the bottom here, if it's not damaged, I have reacquired this bad boy. And this brings me to my my idea for this year. I know I want to play a couple of monster games, but what I'm thinking is I'm going to take 2 very different games from the same theatre, and they may be wildly disparate in scale, or maybe not so much in scale. They'll both be strategic, but they might be different levels of treatment or detail. So, for instance, if I was to play this game and perhaps play Fire in the Sky together and not do a comparative review. I've seen all the nonsense and posts on BGG about reviewing and whether you should say you've played solo or whether you should say you've played it or tell anyone what game you've played. And it's all cute and funny, and I think it's just BGG is becoming a great place to waste a lot of time. I think the last 4 months of last year I must have spent more time goofing around and chatting and having a nice time with friends and being silly, but I want to spend more time gaming and less time screwing around on BGG. So I'm going to try and restrict myself to posting my content there and questions there for my lack of knowledge on a particular game, and I won't be buying any more games after these, so I won't need to be into the database. But anyway, I'm going to put together side-by-side plays, kind of like what I'm doing right now for A Victory Denied and Panzergroup Guderian. I've almost finished both those battles. And I'm going to post them and just compare them and contrast them and maybe see if there's anything interesting there or of note there. So anyway, I picked up 4 games, had a great time at the con. I think if Consim World and BGG World, or whatever it's called, are the same or similar to that in terms of the environment and the friendliness, I've made some new friends, then I will be doing some more of these things. I was really felt welcomed by everybody, and you were able to get a game pretty much of anything, and people were happy to let me kind of stick my nose in and take pictures and be a little bit intrusive and ask lots of questions. So I really appreciate that, everybody, and I had a good time. I need to get some sleep and some healthy food. All right, talk to you soon, and hopefully we'll get this packed up and I'll get some pictures posted. We'll talk to you soon.